When I first came to the Labor Council, I was serving as our political director, and one of my first tasks was to ask Scott Peters, who was then the council president, to docket ordinance that would ban SuperCenters in San Diego. Everyone in labor thought it was incredible to make that ask of him because they just didn't have the relationship with him and thought, there were assumptions made that maybe on the hard asks he wouldn't be there. He invited me to breakfast and we sat down at a little place in La Jolla, and I'll never forget using the first few minutes to just wildly speak about how bad Wal-Mart was and talk about their treatment of women, talk about how much they suppress wages and benefits, and talk about how SuperCenters were different than regular grocery stores and the kind of impact that they were having on our community. And I must have talked for 5 minutes straight without even taking a breath, on and on. And finally Scott just stopped me and he said, okay, I want to tell you, I'm with you. And I was so shocked. I had a cup of coffee in my hand and I spilled it all over the table and all over Scott. He now says it's the only time he's been burned by labor. But it's something that, to be honest, from that day on, became a pattern of behavior. Scott Peters has always been somebody, when we came to him with an issue that working families cared about, he'd say, I'm with you, and how do we get this done? And I think it's that second part of the statement that's so important to working families. It's not just having somebody who's going to vote with you, who's going to get up and say a fiery speech and talk about how much they're with you, but somebody who has the skill set and the ability, really the temperament to get things done. And that's what Scott Peters has meant for our workers, for our unions, and for, I think, most middle-class families in San Diego. I proudly support Scott Peters for Congress.